Okay, so we're going to be doing this again in just, I don't know, I was going to say a few months, but it might be closer than that. I can't keep track. This year's COP28 in Dubai coming up mostly in December. You can imagine we're all preparing major coverage here. But we get really wrapped up in the negotiations and the politics around it. And I know, like you were saying, that the business side, the private sector side has really grown a lot. Can you tell us a little bit about how that plays out at these COP conferences? Are companies making deals to fund some of these things, or what role do they actually play when they're there?
Right. So there are philanthropic companies out there. They come with foundations and actually try to fund some of these good initiatives as use cases, and that is wonderful. And I also come from the private sector, as a career. So, but we also need to know that these companies are not there to do things just for the good, right? Like they do also need to make some kind of a profit out of it. So I think it is great to start from these use cases and try to invest in some of these countries, so to say. I guess, but there is also the tension that sometimes we end up getting into this vendor lock-in or technology lock-in. So I think there is some kind of tension there as well that we want to be mindful not to be locking in some of these countries into certain technologies or vendors mistakenly. So that is happening. And at the same time, there's a lot of these venture companies who are starting up on innovative new ways of carbon credits or even biodiversity credits these days. And it is great that these companies are really trying to create a new market. And I think, again, the private sector companies have great roles in bringing in finance and direct finance to these countries, also starting new markets and new demand. So I think everybody's trying to figure out what that demand might look like or what that market might look like in the end. So I guess, a plea from my end would be not to just try to, in the end, sell the product to the countries, but think about it as a digital ecosystem. How can the company, especially the big tech companies, come into some of these countries and not just end up selling the products, but actually build up the capacity of the people or build up a ecosystem of different entrepreneurs and innovators in the country. I think if we can start to think in that way, there's a lot of sense that can be made.